Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Deji Reacts, and I know it's been a while. Just still trying to get hang of this YouTube thing. The last couple of days has not been easy. Nigerians and most especially President Tinubu, he has been facing a lot of backlash from even within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. It's been crazy. So for those who already know, it has multi-religious, multi-ethnic society, and there's this recent upsurge, in the conversation when it comes to the killing. So people are asking why Christians are being targeted. Now, so for every person out there, you can say, well, why does it matter if it's a Christian or a Muslim? The the point here is that people are dying. So why should we start, stereotyping or tagging it with some certain type of coloration? But obviously the victims will not agree with it. The victims actually believe that they have been targeted. The victims believe that they are being sought after and killed just because of their religion. And the United States have picked up this story. They've really given it a lot of awareness. Speaking about it, Donald Trump has spoken about it twice or three times now. He made two tweets and has also gave an interview on Fox just recently. He said he's angry that this is happening. He said the government is ineffective. He said the government does not know what they are doing really, and that is why he has designated Nigeria as a country of particular. So you also have a situation where even parliament members like Riley Moore, Ted Cruz in the Senate, everyone is basically adding their voice to this thing. Interestingly, guys, Nicki Minaj also gave her own take, and she's also faced, especially some Nigerians who don't agree with this tag. And what even made this whole situation get to a crescendo was a recent video that trended where terrorists went to a church in Kwara State and basically abducted people. About 35 people were. You would see in that video a woman struggling to couldn't run and all of that. So it's not been easy, to be honest. But recently, just about, I think, a day ago, or like few hours ago actually, President Tinubu announced that the 35 people that were kidnapped had been rescued. So that is what I want to react to. So they've been interviewed, a few of them, and we'll hear what they have to say, and what their experience or their ordeal was, whilst all of that was going on. So yeah, let's take a watch.
At the Government House Clinic, the freed victims are attended to by medical personnel, many appearing haggard and exhausted after their ordeal. With the provision of medication, water, and food, those who are weak are moved into the hospital, where they recount their harrowing experiences endured in the hands of the bandits.
It was just a sudden.
Hold on. So, man, can you imagine? I mean, you are not expecting this sort of thing to happen at any point in time. You went to church just to praise your God, just you know, be around your loved ones, be around people you share the same faith with, and next thing you're hearing is poof, 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 gunshot. You know, it's very sad, and you can see how they're looking. I cannot wish this on my worst enemy. This on my worst enemy. See children. Apparently, children were also kidnapped. Just look at the woman. It's really crazy. It's really crazy.
act suddenly and a terrifying
Let's take a
act. We
look.
really know that
Endured in the hands of the bandits.
it was just a sudden act, suddenly and a terrifying act. We really know that it was a dominated area by these evil people called bandits. Even they have the courage to tell themselves that we are bandits. And they make us to know that there's no one that can just slip away without being caught. And with what we see, nobody can escape.
One of the church pastors expresses gratitude
What does that even mean? What does that mean? That it's what we saw. Nobody can, like, you. It it just sort of in my head. I'm thinking, how many are these people? How many are they? Like, how did they manage to get that free reign in a country that has a president, in a country that has governors, in a country that has senators, in a country that has, you know, the military, in a country that has police officers? How is it that, you know, bandits have so much free reign? Like, how is it that they can literally pick up 35 people, 35, without being challenged, without being, like, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. And just look at that guy looking so distraught. Um anyway.
to both the federal and state governments for their efforts in securing the release of his members.
We are so glad to see our people back live, and we appreciate the governor of the state. We appreciate everybody for this great job. One of the authorities on the way coming. We thank God of Christ Apostolic Church.
Okay, so this is where these things miss me. Like, now there's absolutely no wrong, right? um there's absolutely no wrong thanking the government, thanking the security operatives, thanking everybody who has contributed to, to getting these people back. Absolutely no wrong. In fact, they deserve all the commendation. But how did this happen in the first place? That is my biggest concern. How did this happen in the first place? This should not be happening. This is not the sort of stories you should be hearing coming out from a country like Nigeria. You know. So I am going to allow that slide in terms of, it's just showing gratitude to how they're able to promptly get these people back, honestly. But, at the core, at the foundation of this is still a larger problem, which is, how did this happen? Why did it happen? How is it that some people were were attacked and kidnapped by by in such numbers? That for me still doesn't make sense. But let's continue.
Upon his arrival at the clinic, Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak speaks with several victims and personally assesses the condition of those receiving treatment. He stresses that while the release of 30 victims is well,
Just to say, guys, for those who don't know, this is the governor of Kwara State. Kwara State has been a hotbed, a hotbed for banditry, terrorism, and all sorts of violent crimes in the months. This particular case is actually the latest amongst very, very serious um, um, you know insecurity crisis befalling that state. And during this period, the governor has been massively criticized for his docility and nonchalance in getting in ensuring that the security of the state was good. But so yeah, let's continue. And this, why why do Nigerian politicians do this thing? Like, they always have this sober mood, this melancholic mood to, especially when tragedy happens. They go visit people in the hospital. Yeah, you can even see. Look at. I hope this is not an hospital, because just look at how. Anyway, Nigeria. Let's continue.
The ordeal is far from over, as many captives remain in other states. The governor also thanks the president, Bola Tinubu, for his instrumental role in ensuring the safe release of the victims.
The government and people of Kwara State, we thank President Bola Tinubu for his hands-on approach to bringing them back home. And you can see he did not go to the G20 just to pay attention to this, and we can't say much until they're debriefed, and the security.
So again, they are already playing politics with this. To be honest, they are already playing politics, and I mean, at the end of the day, you cannot deny the fact that the people that were kidnapped are back. You know, when politicians, there's this way they do stuff, like they're already putting those snippets there. Oh, we thank President Tinubu for staying back. You can imagine, for staying back to ensure that these guys are rescued. Now, for those of you who don't know, in fact, this G20, this particular governor just mentioned, President Tinubu had even given reasons why he needed to be there. Yes, he did eventually go, agreed. But when this particular issue happened, President Tinubu's team, him and his team, right, announced that they will be at South Africa and Angola. But there was a lot of outcry that, how dare you? What do you mean you are going to G20 when the country is burning, when the country is still trying to sort out what is going on? So they now switched it. They now said, oh, well, I will not be going to the G20 again. I want to make sure that security, is up. Bro, that is exactly what we've been telling you. Hold on, guys. Yeah, that's exactly what we've been saying. Like, you want it whilst going on, I don't know, some G20 summit. So the essence at the time was, or the justification was that, the G20 would have, world leaders, and this would be an opportunity for President Tinubu to basically speak to these guys, also let them know that the country is safe for investors to come into, and also sort of try to dispel the whole Christian genocide. But obviously they had to backtrack, and they've been using that now as just said, oh, we thank the president for staying back. In fact, he released a statement yesterday, saying that, because the security of Nigerians is so paramount to him, that is why he decided not to go to the G20. Bro, why are you telling us? Anyway, I don't want to sound like a hater.
We thank them a lot. The director of DSS was directly in the field, leading from the front. Thank the National Security Advisor. All the agencies coordinated properly.
Authorities insist they will continue to intensify efforts to secure the remaining captives, while families and...
Okay, so that's the end of the video. But something is interesting, though. You can see the governor also said that the security operatives were front and center. The head of the DSS left. Is what then happened to the bandits? What happened to the terrorists? Because in all this video, I didn't hear any single mention of, the terrorists were neutralized. We went there, we saw their hideouts. There were a lot of them. We destroyed their hideouts. Like, where are the bandits? The people responsible for this crime, where are they? So yes, like I said, the victims have been rescued. Good, kudos on that. But what was the mode of rescue? Was it an escape? It was obviously not an escape because, like that guy said, the bandits were already telling them, and they could see that escape was not an option, right? So was it an escape? Well, I don't think so. Was it a rescue? Now, it looks like a rescue. In fact, the way they've sort of, made it look, it definitely looks like a rescue. But if they were rescued, were they just staying, like, I don't understand. Where were the bandits when the rescue operation was going on? So maybe there's some sort of strategic communication here, like they are intentionally leaving this information out to sort of, for security reasons, maybe, and this is me just giving them benefit of the doubt, but like these guys were actually rescued. And again, and say what you like in the comment section, but it really doesn't sound like that. But for whatever it's worth, we're happy that these guys are back home. They are, I mean, I'm sure they will bounce back from it. But you just think about, now they've been rescued, how does that play in their mind? It's never an easy thing to be captured and kidnapped and face this sort of ordeal. So what will the government do in terms of their rehabilitation? What would this governor particularly do to ensure that he sort of helps them psychologically, which is not something we do a lot in Nigeria. Tragedy has happened. Oh, sorry, and everyone moves on. Nobody really looks at the mental strain, stress that comes with this sort of experience. But yeah, that's it. It's been good. Thank you very much for watching to the end of this video. If you manage to get to this stage, I appreciate you. It's a small account, it's a growing account. Hopefully we'll try to be consistent and bring these videos to you, in quick succession. So thank you very much. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and let's get to 100 subscribers, hopefully before December. Thank you very much, guys. See you on the next one. Bye.